4 stages your body moves through as you die. Not the myths, but what actually happens step by step, from the first quiet weeks to the very last thing your brain ever does. The withdrawal. In the final weeks of a natural death, the body begins to quietly power itself down, long before the heart ever stops. It starts with sleep. The person sleeps more and wakes less, until most of the day is spent somewhere between resting and dreaming. Food loses its meaning. The appetite fades, then thirst follows, because the body no longer sees the point in spending energy on digestion. This isn't starvation, it's redirection. Every last drop of fuel is being pulled inward, toward the organs that matter most. And slowly, the world gets smaller. You stop reaching for your phone. You stop following conversations. The room shrinks to the few faces closest to the bed. You drift. You surface for a moment. You drift again. Talking becomes tiring, so silence takes over. And the silence isn't empty. It's the body saving everything it has left. Doctors call this the start of active dying, and for most people, it doesn't hurt. It feels like a deep, pulling tiredness that finally stops fighting back. The withdrawal looks like the body giving up. It's really the body letting go. The breathing changes. As death moves closer, the steady rhythm you've kept your whole life starts to come apart. It turns into a pattern doctors call cheyne stokes. A few fast, deep breaths, and then nothing at all. The brainstem, the ancient part that runs your breathing without you, is low on oxygen and losing its grip on the beat. So carbon dioxide builds up in the blood until it forces a sudden burst of breaths. The levels drop, and everything goes quiet again. You breathe hard. Then you stop. 10 seconds. 20. Sometimes long enough that the people in the room start counting. Then a gasp, and the whole cycle begins again. Near the very end, another sound arrives. The muscles in the throat relax completely. Saliva pools where it can no longer be swallowed, and each breath bubbles softly through it. Families call it the death rattle, and it's the hardest sound to sit beside. But here is what matters. The person is almost always deep in unconsciousness by now. That rattle is not choking, and it is not pain. It's just air moving through a body that has already begun to let go. The breathing sounds like a fight. The fight is only for the people listening. The shutdown. With the heart weakening, the body makes its final decision about where the last of the blood should go, and it chooses the core. Circulation pulls back from everything that isn't essential, the skin, the hands, the feet, and sends what's left to the brain, the heart, and the kidneys. So the edges fade first. The fingers turn cool, the nail beds go dusky, the knees and feet bloom into a blotchy purple map as blood settles in vessels that have stopped moving it along. Doctors call this mottling, and it's one of the clearest signs the end is close. Inside, the same triage plays out organ by organ. The pulse turns thin and hard to find, blood pressure sinks. The kidneys, starved of flow, quietly stop cleaning the blood, and everything begins to slow at once. The person is usually far beyond feeling any of this. Awareness dims like a house switching off its lights room by room, the far rooms first, until only the hallway is left glowing. The shutdown looks like the body failing part by part. It's really the body protecting the last thing worth protecting for as long as it possibly can. The final surge. The heart stops, and you'd think the brain simply switches off with it. It doesn't. Not right away. For seconds, sometimes longer, the brain is still running on whatever it has left. And in some people, something strange happens on the way out. Instead of fading, the dying brain lights up. Real recordings have caught a sudden surge of gamma waves, the same fast, organized brain waves tied to memory, focus, and vivid dreaming, sweeping across the brain just as it loses oxygen. The regions that store your memories fire all at once. Some scientists think this could be where the stories come from. The light, the life replaying, the strange flooding calm that so many people who were brought back describe. Then, slowly, the electricity fades. The waves flatten, and this time, they do not return. That's the line we call clinical death. And one sense seems to hold on longest of all: hearing. Studies suggest the dying brain may still register sound long after the eyes have closed, which is why nurses tell families to keep talking. The heart goes first. The mind, it seems, takes the scenic route out. 4 stages. One body. It doesn't shut down. It lets go.